Hello, Michael here, looking again today at Prayer and Spiritual Warfare, a book penned by Charles Spurgeon. And we're getting into Book 1, The Power of Prayer. And we're on Chapter 3, and now dealing with the section, Filling the Mouth with Arguments. The second part of prayer is filling the mouth with arguments. Not filling the mouth with words or good phrases or pretty expressions, but filling the mouth with arguments. The ancient saints were known to argue in prayer. When we come to the gate of mercy, forcible arguments are the knocks of the rappel with which the gate is opened. Why are arguments to be used at all? One may inquire. The reply is, certainly not because God is slow to give, not because we can change the divine purpose, not because God needs to be informed of any circumstance with regard to ourselves or of anything in connection with the mercy asked. The argument to be used are for our own benefits, not for His. He requires us to plead with Him and to bring forth our strong reasons, Isaiah 41:21, because this will show that we feel the value of the mercy. When a man searches for arguments for a thing, it is because he attaches importance to what he is seeking. The best prayers I have ever heard in our prayer meetings have been those that have been most full of arguments. Sometimes my soul has been melted down, so to speak, when I have listened to friends who have come before God, feeling that the mercy is really needed and that they must have it. They first pleaded with God to give it for this reason, then for a second, then for a third, then for a fourth and a fifth, until they awakened the fervency of the entire assembly. My friends, there is no need for prayer at all as far as God is concerned, but what a need there is for it on our own account. If we were not constrained to pray, I question whether we would even live as Christians. If God's mercies were to come to us unasked, they would not be half as useful as they now are, when they have to be sought for. Now we get a double blessing, a blessing in obtaining, and a blessing in the seeking. The very act of prayer is a blessing. To pray, as it were, to bathe in a cool, swirling stream, and so to escape from the heat of the clouds and get into the clear haven where God dwells. To pray is to enter the treasure house of God, and to gather riches out of an inexhaustible storehouse. To pray is to grasp heaven in one's arms, to embrace the deity within one's soul, and to feel one's body made a temple of the Holy Spirit. Apart from the answer, prayer in itself is a blessing. To pray, my friend, is to cast off your burdens. It is to tear away your rags. It is to shake off your diseases. It is to be filled with spiritual vigor. It is to reach the highest point of Christian health. May God grant us to be frequently engaged in the holy art of arguing with God in prayer. A catalogue of arguments. The most interesting part of our subject remains. It is a very rapid summary and catalogue of a few of the arguments that have been used with great success with God. God's attributes. In prayer, it is good to plead with Jehovah. His attributes, Abraham did so when he laid hold upon God's justice. Sodom was to be pleaded for, and Abraham began. Peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? That be far from thee to do after this matter, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked? That be far from thee? Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? Genesis 18:24-25. Here the wrestling began. It was a powerful argument by which the patriarch grasped the Lord's left hand
and arrested it just when the thunderbolt was about to fall. But there came a reply to it. It was hinted to him that this would not spare the city. Then you notice how the good man, when sorely pressed, retreated by inches. At last, when he could no longer lay hold upon justice, he grasped God's right hand of mercy, that gave him a wondrous hold when he asked that the city might be spared if there were only 10 righteous. So you and I may take hold of any time upon the justice, the mercy, and the faithfulness, the wisdom, the long-suffering, the tenderness of God. And we will find every attribute of the Most High to be, as it were, a great battering ram with which we may open the gates of heaven. Trust you enjoyed the meditation. Michael here declaring yet again, Jesus is Lord. Until next time, be blessed.